Hi, besties. Welcome to the podcast where we're all friends because we love all things Bravo, pop culture, and can't stop talking
Having
about
so much fun.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Bravo should be fun.
I'm Caitlin Marshall, your host here at Besties by Bravo. Allegedly allegations, where we're in a safe space to gossip, share our thoughts, and opinions.
That girl's a liar. That girl's a liar.
About the Bravo celebrities, shows, and celebs we love, hate, and
that's when
love
Chef
to
goes,
hate.
Oh, suddenly now you're so religious?
So be cool. Don't be all uncool.
He went on a podcast claiming he had a threesome with two women from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Immediately, I was like, I wonder if it's Brandy and Carlton.
Because sometimes things may get a little, well, ridiculous.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. There's a spider that is coming down. Hold on. Ah! Oh my God!
It's like the Blair Witch Project or something. All you can hear in the background is, oh my God, has anybody seen my ring?
Oh my God.
I don't want to ruin the party or anything.
Have you seen my ring? Oh my God, can you look on the floor for my ring? God, someone's gonna kill me.
Don't mess with me because I will come.
What? Oh.
Feel free to leave that in for whatever entertainment purposes.
I'm so glad you're here to enjoy the fun. So, thank you for joining me on Besties by Bravo. Hi, besties. Thank you for joining me here today. I am both live on YouTube and I am live on TikTok. So, talk about multitasking, huh? Well, I first want to start with today is January 23rd, Tuesday, and we are getting part 3 of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion tonight. So if you are in the Denver area, I want to remind y'all, come on out to the Marigold. It's going to be a fun little watch party. And then we are having a premiere watch party for Vanderpump Rules on January 30th, which is next Tuesday. That will be at Mile High Spirits, again, in Denver. Hopefully this inspires some of you to have some watch parties in your area, because if we can take anything amazing from Scandival, let us take that, please. All right, let's jump on into it. Let's do a little gossip. What do y'all think? Yeah? Okay. So I'm hearing that there is actually going to be a New Orleans, Louisiana show coming to Bravo. Now, I'm not hearing that it's specifically going to be Housewives, but I'm hearing that it's going to be very similar. Now, I also don't think it's going to be Southern Charm, because we know we've already gotten Southern Charm New Orleans, and well, we know it didn't last too terribly long, and that's not an indication of how good, bad, anything it was. Hi, Adam. Thank you for joining here on YouTube. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm hearing that they are really trying to take some longer pauses in between filming seasons for Housewives, which I think is actually a very good thing. I listen, even Housewives need a break. You feel me? So something that, to stay on topic with the Salt Lake City of it all, Lisa Barlow went on a podcast, and you know I love Baby Gorgeous. Baby Gorgeous is amazing, okay? I'm a Barlow hoe. What can I say? She said that she believes that Monica was watching and getting information from Jen Shah via Jen Shah's security cameras in her home. Her reasoning came from when the whole story was brought up about Lisa and her wanting to get on a plane with Snoop Dogg. Well, Lisa says that she never told anyone but Jen that. Now, could Jen have told Monica that? Yes, absolutely. That being said, she had called Jen and was like, oh my God, I'm so disappointed. I wanted to go on a plane with Snoop Dogg, but I had to go be somewhere else. And so this was part of her reasoning for thinking that Monica was watching them on the security cameras, which I find that very fascinating. If Monica has that type of skill with something like that, well, damn, y'all. But I'm also hearing that Monica, most likely, it's really leaning toward Monica not coming back next season. because no one but Mary would film with her, even though I truly believe that Whitney would have come around on it. Just saying. Then, wow, Erica Jane, when she was on Watch What Happens Live on Wednesday, she was there with Dr. Nicole. She, in the after show, said to Andy that basically, when it comes to the reunion, she got eviscerated last year and she wants it to be fair for everyone. And she was like, yeah, Kyle's my friend, but fair is fair. So I'm I wonder what she means by that, aside from her saying that if we're gonna show our real life, then you need to show it. And, Andy reminded her that Kyle was on Watch What Happens Live and he did ask her a lot of really tough questions and she answered all of them. But I think she's wanting to see a little bit more when it comes time to the reunion. She really wants Kyle's feet to be hot. You feel me? Then, oh my God, Alexis Bellino. Girl, I don't need to see any more posts of you and John Jansen, of you praising John Jansen for being such a fantastic guy. Forget it. Like, we know who John Jansen is, all right? Like, he's a private person. Don't you know? Oh, Lord. Then Anne Marie. Y'all, Anne Marie Wiley. She was called out by the American Society of Anesthesiologists for the quote unquote alleged misrepresentation of being a CRNA, which is a certified registered nurse anesthetist, versus being an actual anesthesiologist with an MD. And she was not happy, my friends. Are we surprised? She put out a post saying, I do not condone what the ASA posted about me. Okay. Well, I'll give you an 8.5 on that. Another thing was Kyle. Kyle was on Jeff Lewis Live today, and I did not get to see the whole thing. So thank you to my friend Donna Bowling for posting about it. I'm going to cover more of it once it is released to SiriusXM because I wasn't able to catch it live. It hasn't been put out on SiriusXM. Don't you worry. I paid my $9.99 and I still didn't get to listen to the episode. Damn it. But basically, Kyle was saying that, yes, she and Mauricio are sleeping in separate bedrooms still. And that essentially, if you didn't already know them as a couple, you really wouldn't know that they're even separated. And that she's just not ready to get a divorce yet. And she's not going to do that until she is ready. And she also was saying that basically, whenever the paparazzi are out, they're really just looking to get photos of her and Morgan. They never take photos of her with anyone else. And of course, she didn't confirm any relationship. Why would she? Okay. So she also talked about Kathy Hilton, her sister, and their relationship. It sounded good. But then she also, when she was on there, talked about her issues with Sutton and how she felt like she was one of the first housewives on the show to get really close with Sutton. And basically that she didn't like how she got so defensive after the name 'em of it all. And it really reminded her of her mother, which growing up with Big Kathy, which, by the way, if you aren't following me on TikTok, go check out the series I started, a bit of a deep dive on Kim Richards. We love Kim, and I just kind of thought it would be nice to get some more information about things that we forgot, things that it would just be nice to know. So check that series out. It is being posted daily for probably the rest of the week, however long I can keep that going. But should we, whoa, excuse me while I adjust a few things. Should we hop on in to this latest episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? I'm thinking we should, even though I know a lot of people are saying that they didn't find it to be that great. I feel like, I don't know, it was as good as it could be considering we were talking about an esophagus most of the time. Thank you very much. Uh-huh. All right, well, let's get into The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So we start out the episode just showing like old days, we were hopping around to all the ladies' homes. And really my biggest takeaway is that Phoenix is the cutest thing. Oh my God. She is going to give Dorit a run for her money. Don't you worry. She's going to keep PK and Dorit in check because she's going to win the prize for the best, most difficult teenager in the world. So we go to Sutton's home. Kyle shows up, and I have to point something out here. She clearly feels so comfortable and at home at Sutton's home, just waltzing on up and giving her a whole bunch of shit for clipping her roses. She's asking Sutton if she's pretending to garden after saying she looks like she's working for the Easter Bunny. And I also have to point out that I noticed Kyle had said about Morgan, or something that Kyle had said about Morgan, I should say, is that Morgan gives her crap all the time. And I remember Kyle saying that if you're going to hang out with Morgan, you're going to get roasted. And it's yet again more of Morgan Wade persona that Kyle is adopting. Okay. And I do kind of also want to remind people that Kyle has always had a tendency to do this. Kyle's sincerest form of flattery truly is imitation. She'd do it with LVP, with the pink and the Hermes bags. I mean, LVP doesn't own the Hermes brand, but you feel what I'm saying there, right? And she copied Kathy's checkered floor at her home. She's just kind of always done this. And, like I said, that's Kyle's form of flattery at the end of the day, Kyle says to Sutton that she's going to get her face out of the sun and just says she's going inside and you pick the damn roses. Again, just showing how comfortable she is in Sutton's home. And it's not Kyle's old home that Sutton had previously been renting. This is her Sutton's new home. Excuse me while I adjust my chair. I'm realizing I'm very low down here. Okay. And all of this just really lends more to the fact that Kyle and Sutton are actually friends. Okay. Sutton offers Kyle a water, and Kyle starts imitating her accent then, of course, because it's Kyle. She loves to imitate accents. I have a problem with that myself, but it was still kind of annoying. I'm not going to lie. So maybe I'm annoying. Am I annoying? God, don't tell me the answer to that. Kyle goes over and just immediately opens Sutton's fridge. Excuse me, immediate jail, rude. And she comments, or no, she doesn't comment on it, but she does in her confessional comment, Kyle does, about how little food there is in Sutton's refrigerator. We're still doing this? Really? In confessional, Sutton says, had I known that Kyle was going to go through my fridge, I would have put food in there just to prove I eat a lot. Sutton asks Kyle how she's feeling after the memorial for Maureen, and she asks where Mauricio was. And Kyle tells her that he was just in Aspen, in Chicago, in here, in there, in Mexico, where have you. And in confessional, Sutton says, honestly, what I think a really true good friend would say. It's something I would say. Sutton says, I'm not accepting the excuse that Mo was given. Unless you're in the hospital or dead in a ditch, you show up for your wife and your wife's dead best friend's family. And Kyle tells Sutton that he's going to be at the Homeless Not Toothless event. And yet, after a year, an entire year of all of us saying, homeless, not toothless, homeless, not toothless, homeless, not toothless, as if it were some sort of damn tongue twister 20 times in a row on a daily basis, she still thinks it's funny to make fun of the name. Let the mouse go. Wasn't that what Sutton had said to Dorit one time? Yeah, she did. You've had your fun. Let the mouse go. Well, let the homeless, not toothless jokes go. At this point, the horse is done. So the charity, though, I'm not going to lie, it's still a little bizarre to me. Okay, I'm not even going to try and make a joke about it because let's just be frank here. I think the homeless, unhoused would prefer to have a home, a roof, and then they'll be like, hey, the teeth. Let's do the teeth after. Okay. Sutton tells Kyle about Garcelle telling her that Anne-Marie was coming for her when they were at that event. And basically Sutton's like, hey, I thought we had a good day on Saturday when they all went to, I believe it was like Solvang or something like that for Anne-Marie's birthday. And we get to see some lovely unseen footage of Anne-Marie licking Sutton's armpit, which can I point something out, or may I please? Erica was not at that event because she had COVID, and these gals were spitting in each other's mouths, scissoring and licking armpits. Boundaries, ladies, boundaries. In confessional, Kyle says, we have seen Sutton throw a fit and get into fights over some really ridiculous things. And we get all these flashbacks of Sutton, well, basically versus pants. She really doesn't seem to like pants. Because first it was the magic Mike. It's not about the pants. And then yelling at Crystal, jealous of what? Your ugly leather pants? Kyle thinks Sutton may have finally met her match. I don't know about that. I don't know. I'm not in agreement with that one. And Sutton brings up going to Barcelona, which she had invited the girls to the night before, and how she doesn't even want to invite that nurse doctor. And Kyle tells her, well, you already did invite her, Sutton. But Sutton's saying that Anne-Marie owes her apology. Is it Anne-Marie or Anna-Marie? No one says it the same. And the same people don't even say it the same every time. You can understand my confusion. So we go to Crystal's house, and she's FaceTiming Garcelle just to basically talk about the night before. And she brings up Anne-Marie implying Sutton had an eating disorder. And she just wants to basically understand what Anne-Marie's endgame is here. And I'll tell you what her endgame is. Keeping a diamond and being relevant on the show. Sorry, but it's true. Now, Crystal then tells Garcelle that she met Anne-Marie around Christmas, and that when she met Anne-Marie, she told her that she was a doctor and not a nurse, and that Anne-Marie was saying that she was an anesthesiologist. Now, that is a big jump. Nurses are still very highly educated. We love nurses here on this show, on this account, all of it, okay? We are very respectful of every person in the medical field because we need y'all, all right? We don't want to die. Thank you very much. That being said, it is a totally different thing. That's like 14 to 16 years of school versus 8 years of school. It is a difference, and you are not allowed to misrepresent yourself. Now, this is hearsay coming from Crystal. We don't know for certain that Anne-Marie was like, hi, I'm a nurse, or I'm sorry, hi, I'm an anesthesiologist. Still working on my Anne-Marie voice. It's not that overly unique, just like a lot of things. Solid 8.5 though. So so Crystal says to Garcelle that she had just simply Googled narrow esophagus, and that, yes, it was in fact a thing, and that it pops up immediately as also being genetic, which further explains when Sutton had said her brother had it as well. And I just also want to point out, all you have to do is Google procedure for narrow esophagus. There is a procedure, and this is via the Cleveland Clinic, okay, where they will put a device in the esophagus, wherever the stricture is, and that they will use that to expand it. And yes, maybe Sutton was using layman's terms, but it's to essentially stretch it. So in confessional, Crystal says, Anne-Marie spent all this time researching Sutton's esophagus, and after Googling, I was able to get an answer in 5 minutes. Maybe I'm a doctor. Oh, that'll come back to you in a minute. While Dorit is planning the Homeless Not Toothless gala, she immediately starts in about security. Will they be able to cross the line over here? And PK, all right. Well, PK immediately says, one thing about you is you've got too many thoughts going on. You've got to trust your people. You've got me. You've got Nick. Just relax, okay? I still find him so incredibly condescending, even when he is trying to help. You feel? PK, I guess, thought they were doing a food tasting. I don't know if it was a joke or not. But they go over to show them the table settings, and they're looking at them. And PK says, Dorit's more polite than May, and I know that she's thinking, this looks like a canteen in an office. Not my first thought. My first thought was, what a beautiful wedding. And in confessional, Dorit says,
Even though I probably would work on the delivery, I love that PK can say things I would normally be mortified to say. What's on his lung is on his tongue. That's what I always say.
So we go to breakfast with Crystal and her brother. Y'all, I completely forgot that Jeff, Crystal's brother, legitimately was a pop star, is in China. Did you know that he goes by Jeffrey Kung? And he was discovered by an agent while he was singing karaoke. And he didn't even speak Mandarin at the time, even though their parents are from China and all of that. So I think it's kind of fascinating. And he actually won the Chinese Grammy for New Artist of the Year in 2001. He's legit, y'all. For real, legit. So Crystal's, well, first, he brings her this bracelet and he's like, yeah, so a Buddhist monk made that with his feet. And she's like, what? Oh my God. Are you serious? He's like, no, I'm just kidding. Because she has a foot phobia, I guess. And she's telling him about how Sutton licked Kyle's toe it was Ojai they were, excuse me, when they were in Ojai. And then the topic of Jeff's ex fiance comes up. Well, he basically ends up telling Crystal, one, that he's planning on relocating to China for half of the year. And remember, he was her quote unquote Manny. He would babysit her kids and all of that. But basically, he does tell Crystal how his ex-fiance never felt accepted by Crystal or their mom. And there's really a history of it being pretty difficult for Jeff's girlfriends in the family, especially with the two women in his life. And they were very, very close. Crystal and Jeff have always been, people even used to think they were twins. And they show some photos, and oh my God, they literally looked like they could have been twins. But I think they're rewarding Crystal with more of her story for how intense she went at the Homeless Not Toothless gala. So all the ladies are getting ready for the gala, and Dorit has like 5 people taking her pictures after glam, which, I mean, you would have to hope someone would get a fantastic shot. 5 of them, 4, however many. Rob, Crystal's husband, is going to be late for the gala because he's going to an event for the Brave Little Toaster. I have questions. Like, what kind of event is this? Are they giving toasters to homeless, toothless people unhoused? What are they doing? Do toasters need charity? I'm so confused. We still all use toasters. I know air fryers are a big thing right now, but I still use a toaster. I mean, come on. So then Kyle and Mauricio are coming to the gala together. And she tells him very much like in a knowing way that they're going to the Beverly Hilton. Yeah. He asks about the event for Lorene, and he, of course, immediately also asks, so none of the guys weren't right? That I botched that. Excuse me. Let me try that. It's already been a long day, my friends, and it's going to continue on. Oh, hi, Miriam. Oh, my voice is breaking up. Damn, Wi-Fi, get it together. So Mauricio asks Kyle, of course, none of the guys went, right? And obviously, he's trying to make himself seem not quite so much like an asshole for not showing up. But even if none of the other men went, none of the other men had considered Lorene a family member. Mauricio, I'm still pretty peeved at you for not going to that event. Like, what the hell, man? What the hell? You should have absolutely been there for your wife. And like Sutton said, her best friend who is no longer with us. Okay. Sorry, Mauricio, but that's just a fact. He's talking about how he's been traveling so much and that he's trying to just get caught up. And that's when Kyle springs on him that she's going to Spain. And in confessional, Kyle says, it's a little taste of his own medicine, to be honest, because there are many times where all of a sudden he's like, oh, I'm off to Portugal. I'm leaving for Chicago. I don't really get a heads up. So, oops. And then we're at the gala, and Erica ends up talking to this guy for a few minutes, and they realize He's her dentist. I'm very much assuming that the reason she didn't realize is because he didn't have the mask on and the, magnifying glasses things. And she runs back inside.
Oh my God, I just saw my dentist.
And Anne Marie, Marcellus, Kyle, and Mauricio are all at the step and repeat red carpet. And Mauricio is like fangirling over Marcellus. I don't know if he was drinking or what was going on, but Kyle is getting very annoyed. And so she immediately asks him, "What's in that drink? Weed or alcohol? I forgot." And he's like, "Alcohol." I guess you can drink weed, can't you? They have those drinks. They do. Kyle and Mauricio are just kind of like awkwardly posing together. And in confessional, Kyle says, "I feel like every time I go to one of these events, there's a lot of whispering and watching Mauricio and me, which feels really strange. They're analyzing every move or hand gesture. It's very weird." All right. Well, he tells her at the step and repeat to go ahead and get some alone. But this is all like normal stuff. We always get them going. Couples always have to take some photos alone. That's especially when the wife is the star. Hello. We're more interested in what she's wearing, how she did her makeup, how she did her hair, all of the things. So it's really odd that it's being made a thing. But again, they're setting the stage for what's to come really at the end of the day. Okay. And also, Kyle, you have been on the show for 13 years. 13. And you've been in the entertainment industry since before you could walk. I think you're okay. Still would be painful, though. I don't want to negate that. Sutton comes in to the table where Garcelle, Crystal, and Erica are. And Crystal's like, "How's your esophagus?" And Erica is saying, "Your MPNEME." Apparently, MP stands for magical poussey. I just don't like that word. I'm not afraid of it. I just don't like it. I don't like it. I feel like it's weaponized against women. Not to go on my feminist rant, but I really feel like it is. Because, men will say that to each other. Don't be a poussey. And yet that vital organ gives you life. And I guarantee what we go through when we give life with that thing would wreck you men's balls. Thank you very much. You can't even stand upright without it hurting. So, okay. Just want to make that clear. In confessional, Sutton says, "My magical esophagus is like my MP in that it's smooth and silky and also very tight." Thank you, Sutton, for that. Sutton tells them that you don't talk about her body behind her back. And they all agree. Oh, man. Anne Marie walks in, and that's when they're going, "Oh, God." And Sutton's like, "What? Don't be afraid." And Crystal, I don't know if y'all caught this, immediately goes, "No one's afraid of her." Ooh. Anne Marie goes up to them with Marcellus and hugs Sutton. And he technically is meeting Sutton for the first time. And she's like, "Hi, I'm Sutton." And he's like, "Yes, I've heard. Nice to meet you too." Can you imagine how much more that man has heard at home about Sutton's damn esophagus than even any one of these women, which we're going to find out even more how much Anne Marie has harped on Sutton's esophagus. So Sutton tells Anne Marie they need to talk right now. And Anne Marie's just to Marcellus, "Go to the bar. Go get us a drink at the bar." And Sutton looks at her and she goes, "You picked the wrong person." Anne Marie says, "Okay, seriously, Sutton, let me explain something to you first." And Sutton just starts on her like repetitive thing. "Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am." In confessional, Erica's like, "You got to be careful with the no ma'ams. This particular no ma'am could, where I'm from, get you smacked." This is when Anne Marie pulls that card that I loathe, that typically men do to women. I'm not hating on men. I swear. This is just, you know what I'm saying. Where it's the, "Oh my God, but why are you yelling?" Anne Marie goes, "I don't yell. So if you want to make me yell, I will match your tone." "I'm not yelling." "You were. Now you're lying. You were yelling." Oh, is this my third lie that I've told? Yes, your third lie. And Erica goes, what was the first two? The first one was that her doctor said she could drink and have gabapentin at the same time. Which he did. Well, you can't. Are you my doctor? It doesn't matter. I am a board certified nurse anesthetist. And she just keeps saying this all as Kyle walks up to hug Erica. And Sutton says, I have a board certified Dr. GI that I've seen. So I know what I have. And you said that I made it up. And as she's saying all this, Anne Marie just keeps going, great, great, great. Then Anne Marie says, I didn't say you made it up. This is when Crystal is activated. Crystal, do not activate Crystal. Because Crystal leans in. You said she lied. And we get the flashback to Anne Marie saying she thinks Sutton is sweet as apple pie. But she's known her for 2 seconds and already heard, quote unquote, 2 lies come out of her mouth. And Anne Marie says, I said what she said does not make sense medically. Crystal goes, you said that as well, but you said she lied. Okay, I said if it's a lie. If. Garcelle reminds Anne Marie that she said she's lied twice in the 5 minutes she's met her. Yes, about the gabapentin and then potentially this. It's just so much more back and forth. And then this lie that Anne Marie lets escape her mouth is absolutely flabbergasting to me. It completely discredits anything Anne Marie is going to say when she recalls any conversation she has with any of these women. It's wild because Anne Marie goes, Crystal, you were the one saying she has an eating disorder. Of all the people, Crystal absolutely would never, ever have even remotely insinuated that. That is such a sensitive topic for her. Crystal has been so vulnerable and open about her own struggle with her eating disorder. So, listen, you are not going to convince me that Anne Marie did not watch The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills before she got on this show. You will never convince me that she has not tried to do her homework. Because remember, friends, she's a critical thinker. And critical thinkers like to do their research as they are going to come to their critical thoughts. And Crystal immediately goes, are you out of your mind? And Garcelle just goes, oh, no, 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 no. And Garcelle's saying in confessional that people are stopping and looking at them like they are at the zoo. And the women there, they are the animals. Sutton tells Anne Marie that it was completely inappropriate to bring this up at the celebration of life for Lorene. And Crystal says to Anne Marie, you literally spent 2 hours talking about her to where she and I, talking about Garcelle, had to leave because it was so annoying. And we get the flashback of this, oh my God, with the timestamps of her literally even saying over and over and over, small esophagus, board certified nurse anesthetist. Can you imagine how many times Marcellus has heard those words, small esophagus and board certified nurse anesthetist? That is such a hard word for me to say. I'm not going to lie. I am not going to lie. That word is so hard for me to say. I'm working on it. Okay. It's a tongue twister. Can you imagine the loop though at their home? Oh my Lord in heaven. I'm sure Marcellus wakes up in the middle of the night. Small esophagus. Nothing, honey. Go back to sleep. 2 hours later, board certified nurse anesthetist. God, nothing, honey. Go back to sleep. It's just insane. Hamster wheel. And this is when Anne Marie says, I am trained to be a critical thinker. So when I hear something that doesn't make sense, we try to make sense of it. And Crystal's just like, oh my God. And Anne Marie goes, Crystal, didn't you want to go to medical school? If you'd gone to med school, you'd get that. Oh my God. This is the thing. I wanted I wanted to like Anne Marie because when I hear someone saying, "Oh, the new housewife, I don't like her," blah blah blah, I'm like, then I'm gonna give her even more of a chance because I am going to root for an underdog if I can. Y'all, she does herself no favors. It's so bad. And Crystal goes, "Did you go to medical school? Didn't you tell me you were an anesthesiologist when I met you?" Oh my God. And this is when Anne Marie knows she's losing the argument because she automatically wants to turn this all around on Crystal. And she goes, "Here we go. Here we go." Like downplaying my profession again. Actually, here we go, you grasping at straws, maybe grasping at IV tubes because you want to make Crystal look bad when you are doing such a fantastic job of making yourself look bad that Crystal doesn't even have to try. So, how's that for a spin on a Garcelle quote? And Crystal immediately, I mean, I can't blame her. I know it wasn't the best, but I can't blame her because Crystal goes, "You're such a bitch." And all of their jaws completely drop. In confessional, Anne Marie says, "Crystal told us that she wanted to go to medical school." And we get a flashback of Crystal telling the whole group in a Sprinter van, excuse me, that she wanted to go to med school, but Rob wanted to start having a family and asked her essentially not to go because he wanted to get married and start the family with her. Now, I don't know many men who are that eager and wealthy and someone that, you know, the girl actually wants to get married to that are going to say that. So I don't blame her for wanting to take him up on that. And this is still continuing Anne Marie in confessional. Anne Marie says her husband wouldn't have waited for her. So I think that Crystal resents me because I'm in the medical profession. She's taking out what she didn't get to do on me. Girl, ma'am, 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 I, ma'am, no. Oh my God, no. I just, what? That was, yeah. She said resents when she meant jealous. Honey, I don't think Crystal is jealous of you. I believe that maybe Crystal wishes that she could have gone to med school? Crystal is incredibly intelligent, and I think she would have made a fantastic doctor. Could you imagine if we ended up with like, I mean, obviously it would have not played out the same way, but another anesthesiologist, not CRNA, but another anesthesiologist on Bravo? That would have been amazing. So Sutton tells Anne Marie, "You owe me a big apology." And this is the way Anne Marie apologizes. "I apologize, Sutton, for being concerned and inquisitive about something that anybody in my," and looks at Crystal, "fake profession would have been concerned about. I do apologize for that. Whether or not you accept it, that is on you." Okay. Okay. And Sutton acknowledges in her confessional that it was a non-apology. Let me just say this. Sutton was not a woman who is very much pregnant, confirming she's pregnant, and choosing to drink and do drugs. This is not a case where someone is on an airplane dying of a heart attack. And they ask, is there a medical professional in here where you have to do your due diligence? She said her doctor told her she could drink on gabapentin. That is not your due diligence, Ms. Anne Marie Wiley, 8.5. Excuse me, 8.5, to police what Sutton does or does not do with her body. She's not doing something reckless that is she's not saying, "Oh yeah, I'm drinking on Ativan." Anything like that. She's not doing that. Give me a break. Kyle tells Dorit about what happened with the ladies. And I mean, she's acting like this is so insane and like she's never seen a group of ladies behave this way. Oh, my pearls. They are being clutched so hard, they're going to go right through my palm. She also says that she's never seen Crystal act like that and that she didn't know she had it in her. And in confessional, she says, "We've all wanted Crystal to find her voice, but screaming 'you're such a bitch' at a black tie event wasn't exactly what we were talking about." And then Dorit in confessional goes,
Come on, ladies. This is about the homeless and the toothless.
The ladies start perusing the silent auction, and there's a guitar signed by Taylor Swift that Mo's like, we don't need that. There's a ring that Kyle points out to Sutton, and she goes, oh, look. And there's this voice Kyle puts on whenever she's like, I don't know, trying to be facetious, sarcastic, and funny all at the same time. Looks like the ring my precious husband got me when he cheated on me. You know what I'm talking about? That. And Sutton's just like, don't do that. But oh my God, the man working the auction there, his eyes are complete, just total saucers. Like, did these women just say that? Sir, you're at a charity event in Beverly Hills. Come on now, act like that's the worst thing you have ever heard. Come on. So then, oh wow, Paula Abdul is there. I didn't see William H. Macy. Did y'all? Maybe I missed it. And Dorit goes up on stage and she's introduced as a fashion designer. And I was like, Dorit's a fashion designer. And I was like, oh yeah. Well, there was a lot of beachwear she did design before Beverly Beach, which, friends, do you think you can go buy anything on Beverly Beach on their website? That would be a no. But I also find it interesting that she was introduced as that, and her tagline is that fashion is her language. Interesting. Wonder what's coming.
Probably another Beverly Beach line.
You know, I wonder if she's going to name any swimsuits, bikinis after, Anne-Marie and Crystal. I have a feeling not. Or maybe the Morgan Wade, the best friend stealer, because according to Dorit, Morgan has basically stolen Kyle from her, which also, by the way, Kyle has been very transparent about saying that Dorit's exaggerating how close they were. I find that quite fascinating. And I believe they're filming the reunion this Friday. Or it was last Friday. We would have been seeing more content about it if it were last Friday. So, anywho, they introduced Taylor Dane. Tell it to my heart. And Erica just immediately stands up, is like, yes. She's singing along, and we're getting kind of a remix, a remake, a reimagining of Oh Holy Night again. Basically, this is just a bunch of white people dancing who are over the age of 40. And why am I not surprised that Anne-Marie has no idea who Taylor Dane is? Come on. At the table, Sutton is saying that they've all got to work on their friendship, and she tries to tell Anne-Marie that she really likes her and that she had a really good time with her, but that she does not like the things she was saying behind her back, or to her face, in my opinion. Thank you very much. And oh my God. Somehow it's only just now that Anne-Marie got her ass called the hell out, that she is actually over Esophagate. Isn't that interesting? Because Anne-Marie goes, Sutton, I've already explained that to you, and I'm not going to let you continue that narrative. Even Kyle gets a look on her face at that, like, God, you want to make things worse here, Anne-Marie, or do you want to make it better? This was interesting. While the ladies are packing for Spain, Kyle is bringing up a bag saying, oh, I got some new shoes. And she opens the box and she goes, those aren't my shoes. They're Morgan's shoes. Oh, great. Y'all, listen, I am straight as the day is long. And is that some sort of lesbian calling card to leave your shoes, not your bra? Because, I mean, I imagine she has great shoes. She's just leaving her shoes unless they accidentally swapped bags, which, okay, they were shopping together. It was kind of an odd throwaway, but not a throwaway. Do you see where I'm going with that? So Kyle ends up FaceTiming Anne-Marie, who seems actually pretty contrite over the entire Esophagate ordeal. And then Erica and Crystal are FaceTiming about what went down at the gala. And Crystal tells Erica the whole thing was just literally driving her crazy. And Erica goes,
You know, people communicate when under stress in different ways. It got loud, and thank God it wasn't about me. That's all I have to say.
that's all Erica keeps saying about anything that goes down this season.
Well, I'm just glad it's not about me, honey.
Anne Marie ends up FaceTiming Sutton. And she, as soon as Sutton picks up, she goes, Sutton. And Sutton goes, Excuse me, ma'am. I'm eating. I'm actually eating. And Anne Marie goes, Sutton, I'm coming to you with my heart in my hands. And Sutton just goes, Okay. Sorry. I don't know what it is about like a Southern woman, just silence, ellipses. Okay. Go ahead. I'll let you know if I'm going to give it back to you or if I'm going to put it into a meat shredder. It's really up to you at this point, but go ahead. Okay. And Anne Marie actually tells her that she's sorry for her part in everything that had happened. And Sutton's like, You're sorry for your part. And in confessional, Sutton's like, Your part? How about your part is the only part? No, ma'am. Mm-mm. She's going to get a lot of no ma'ams. Anne Marie tells her, though, that she's sorry for prying and talking about her esophagus. And Sutton's like, I'll talk about my esophagus all day. And Anne Marie's like, Well, I'm sorry for talking about it. And Sutton clarifies for her behind my back. And Anne Marie agrees, and she says she's not proud of the things she said. And Sutton tells her she's not off the hook yet, but she wants her to come because you did lick my armpit. And Anne Marie's calling them armpit buddies and says in confessional that she's actually embarrassed by her behavior. Now, this is what's also odd to me, though, is that Anne Marie says in her confessional she's embarrassed by her behavior. But now, instead, like now that it's all said and done, we're past the whole season, Anne Marie has still been doubling down on her behavior and on her words regarding Sutton and her narrow esophagus. I cannot believe we are talking about a narrow esophagus on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I am just, Beverly Hills, you got to pull this shit together. I'm sorry. I love you ladies, and y'all are amongst the favorite with the fans. But if your storyline, big storyline of the season, until we actually get to the Kyle and Mauricio of it all, is an esophagus. Imagine if we didn't have the Kyle and Mauricio and Morgan Wade of it all. There would be nothing. 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 But Erica Jane did describe this season as somber. And, somber. Got a little something in there. And Erica, when she was on Watch What Happens Live, and Andy would ask her questions about Anne Marie talking about Sutton's esophagus ad nauseum, Erica literally was like,
Well, what else are we going to talk about? Me? I'm just glad we're not talking about me.
All right. Interesting that we get this 24 hours later card, which usually, that's like at this point, a Salt Lake City thing or what have you. And we get the previews for next week with the ladies in Spain. And I guess they're staying at some like haunted hotel. Not a lot happening aside from Anne Marie saying to Crystal, You're welcome for keeping you relevant because I give you something to talk about. Which also, Anne Marie, I love Dr. Nicole from Miami. If y'all aren't watching Miami, you need to be watching it. There are two shows that I feel like are not getting the proper praise and flowers on Bravo. That's Miami and Southern Hospitality. Y'all need to be watching them. I'm telling you, Southern Hospitality will give you that Vanderpump Rules, early days, back alley by the dumpster, sir, nostalgia, while also adding in Southern charm. Does that make a connection there? And Miami is so good, which, by the way, friends, I'm recapping Miami as of now every week on my friend Giorgio. Y'all know Giorgio is here every Thursday. And I go on his podcast as well his podcast is Giorgio Says, just like his accounts. And we recap Miami. So, come on, get those ratings up. I'm hoping Beverly Hills takes an upturn, and I'm not saying I need them to have a lot of drama. I will never forget how fun it was watching the ladies in Provence doing impressions of each other. Oh my God, it was hysterical. It was hysterical. I don't always need them to be fighting. I don't think anyone does. So I'm not even saying like bring some drama. I'm just saying don't manufacture drama that isn't worth viewing. Like an esophagus, esophagate. How is that even a thing that we're saying? Whatever. That being said, again, friends, if you're in the Denver area, come to the Marigold tonight, 6 p.m. We are going to be doing the reunion of Salt Lake City Part 3 watch party. And then next week in Denver, on the 30th, will be the Vanderpump Rules premiere watch party at Mile High Spirits, also airing at 6 p.m. That one is also going to be co-hosted by the account Real Housewives of Politics, which is a fantastic account. I have to say, if y'all aren't following them, please do. And I'll tell you why I wasn't live last Tuesday. I was a virtual caller on Watch What Happens Live. Incredible. Highly recommend. And if you want to see what happened, okay, I know I direct y'all to my TikTok all the time, but I'm telling you, it's on there. You'll see what happened. And I was caught a little off guard. And of course, I had a much better comeback 2 hours later, and an even better one when I took a shower the next day, because it's like shower arguments, but also like comebacks and things like that I should have said in reply to something. Not that it was a combative situation, but comebacks, you know what I'm saying. Just go look at it. You'll know what I mean. Anyway, my friends, go follow Besties by Caitlin on Instagram and TikTok. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I am asking that you subscribe and hit the notification bell and leave a 5-star review. It's free. It's kind. It makes my day. Things like that support the show. And I try to put some good old effort for y'all into this because I love this stuff so much, and I know a lot of you do too. And I will see you live on Thursday with Giorgio to recap what is supposed to be a quote unquote supersized Part 3 reunion of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And I do believe, I still have to reconfirm, that I have another special guest and coming on another day this week, that I will be releasing a third podcast this week because I can't completely skip over Part 2 reunion of Southern Charm. Right. Okay, my friends, thank you so much for joining, and I will see you on Thursday. Bye.